If we want to understand Mahaprabhu, Sachinandan Gaur Hari, then it is very important that we start to contemplate and meditate upon these teachings, and then we can start to realize them. So we've learned 3 verses now of Gaur Tattva. So we'll recite each verse together and then discuss the word for word, the translation, and the purport, according to the teachings of Srila Gurudev and our Vaishnav Acharyas. So we'll start with 115 of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we can say it together, starting Radha Krishna. All right, we'll say it slow. Radha Krishna pranaya vikritir ladini shakti razmad ekatmanavapi bhuvi pura deha vedam gatoto chaitanyakam prakatam aduna tadvayam chakyam aptam Radha bhavadyuti suvalitam nomi Krishna swarupam. So with this verse and then the following verse, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami reveals the inner essence and speciality of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his internal reasons for coming, which will be discussed in the next verse, his nature, and all these things. So these are very important verses to learn. If we want to understand Mahaprabhu, Sachinandan Gaur Hari, then it is very important that we start to contemplate and meditate upon these teachings, and then we can start to realize them. Remembered, we talked before about this process. First you memorize, and you meditate upon it, you internalize it, then you can start to realize it. So first we memorized it, but then we memorize it so we learn the meaning. And the verse is like a sutra, it's the essence. And when we think about it deeply, and then we can read the purports given by Gurudev and Vaishnavas, and then we can understand it in more detail. This is like the essence has been given here. But each point needs to be understood. The words are given, which are like a sutra means an aphorism, a condensed form of knowledge. And so it needs to be unpacked or expanded. So Radha Krishna pranaya vikritir ladinir asmad. So this verse talks about who Mahaprabhu is. First it says Radha Krishna pranaya vikritir ladini asmad. So Radha Krishna are one. Radha Krishna. If you look in the English transliteration, it says Radha - Krishna. Means Radha Krishna are one. Radha Krishna, just like it said in Sastra, Shakti Mator Abedaha. Shakti means the potency, and Shaktiman means the possessor of potency. The example is given of fire. Fire represents Krishna. He is Shaktiman. Fire has 2 qualities, heat and light. Right? So heat and light is Shakti, Srimati Radhika. In this example, this is an example given to help us start to get a glimpse of an understanding of the nature of Radha and Krishna. So therefore this example first is given. Shakti Matora Bedha. Shakti and Shaktiman are non-different. How? Just like fire is not different from its heat and light. You cannot separate it. You can have light, and you can have like a heater. But where is that power coming from? It's coming from this Shakti. Fire is like Shakti, force, power. So there is the power, and then there is the powerful, the possessor of power. So Krishna is like the possessor of Shakti or power, but Radhika herself is that Shakti. She is the power herself. That's why we sing Urjeswari, Rajeswari, Raseshwari, Kriyeshwari. Urjeswari means Radhika is the queen of Urja. Urja means power, literally power, Urja Shakti. Kriyeshwari means the goddess of all Kriya, action. So this is Srimati Radhika. When we follow Kartik, we're following Urja Vrat. A Vrat or a special kind of observance of spiritual practice honoring Urja or Jayeshwari Srimati Radhika, who is power personified. Right? Shakti, that is Radhika. So Shakti and Shaktiman cannot be separated. That's why they're called Abheda. Abheda means no division. So when we say Radha Krishna are one, it means they are one tattva. But the example is given of a chickpea. When you take the skin off a chickpea, there's two halves. The two halves combined are one chickpea. Like this is called chana dal or a chickpea. You open it, it's two pieces, but it's one. So this is Radha Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada uses the word moiti. It's an English word. It's more of an old-fashioned English word, but it means, moitis mean two inseparable halves. You say Radha Krishna are the divine moitis. That means they are two inseparable halves, like the chickpea. You cannot separate them. Therefore they are one. Even though they appear in two forms, really they are ekatmanav. They have appeared in two forms, deha bedam gatoto. They have appeared in two forms, but really Radha and Krishna are one. So therefore, how does Radhika manifest in Krishna Lila? So Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir. Vikriti means a transformation. Okay? Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmad. And Shakti of Ladini. Ladini means pleasure or happiness or bliss. And that is Srimati Radhika also. She is specifically Krishna's Ladini Shakti. Even though she is, on one hand, Radhika is Svarup Shakti. That means all sorts of Shakti combined. Ladini Shakti, Samvit Shakti, and Sandini Shakti are all included within Svarup Shakti. So when we say Radhika, first she is Svarup Shakti. That means Krishna's own power, Svarup, his own Svarup. Sva means own and Rup means form or personality. So it's Krishna's own Svarup Shakti. That is Srimati Radhika. But then there are three further divisions. There is Sandini Shakti, which is Baladev. Samvit Shakti, which is Krishna. Baladev is the existence potency, the foundation of everything. Then Krishna is Samvit Shakti, which also represents knowledge or consciousness. And Radhika is Ladini Shakti, Krishna's pleasure potency. But ultimately, all three, Sandini, Samvit, and Ladini, are within Sarup Shakti, which is Srimati Radhika. So if you go to the very origin, which is like ontology, the very origin of Shakti and Shaktiman, or Radha Krishna, the possessor of potency and the potent, the lover and the beloved, then you come to what is called Svatantra Ishvara. That means Krishna is the independent Lord and Master of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Anadiradi Govinda, the cause of all causes. The controller of all controllers. That's Krishna. And Srimati Radhika is his Shakti, meaning Krishna desires and she fulfills his desire. Even before Krishna has to desire it, she's already fulfilling it because ultimately they are one. They are the divine moitis. Remember this one. They are inseparable halves. You cannot divide Radha and Krishna. It's not possible. If you try to divide them, it's like two halves of a magnet that are so powerful, immediately come back together. Like a positive and negative sides of something, bus. You cannot divide them. Okay? So, Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmad. So, in Srimati Radhika herself, Ladini Shakti is very prominent. Even though she is Swarup Shakti, Ladini Shakti is more prominent in her nature. That means she is the personality who gives happiness to Krishna. Just as Krishna gives happiness to Radha, but her role is that of giving this pleasure. So then, when we say Pranaya Vikritir, the transformation of Krishna's love, how does that manifest? Pranaya Vikriti means Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir, Ladini Shakti Rasmad. This is defining Radhika's nature. So she is that manifestation and transformation of the very essence of love. Like Gurudev often says, God is love and love is God. So Krishna is love, love is Krishna. But that love itself is Srimati Radhika. That is Srimati Radhika. Krishna is the beloved. He is the enjoyer of that love. Another thing, if we go further into ontology, it said there's actually three things in existence. Krishna, who is like the beloved. The devotee or bhakta, and the topmost example is Srimati Radhika, but they are like the devotee or the lover. And then the third thing is that love, the love between them. So Radha, Krishna, and their prem. And ultimately all the jivas, all living entities are manifestations of Shakti Tattva. The jivas are not Ishvar Tattva or directly like Krishna. They are Shakti Tattva, meaning they are themselves manifestations of the pleasure or the potency of the Lord, which is meant to please the Lord. Our purpose or dharma is to give pleasure to Krishna. It said prem. Pure love means Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dare Premanam. The endeavor to give pleasure to the senses of Krishna is known as prem. So the dharma or inherent nature of the living entity, because it is Shakti Tattva, it is itself coming from that energy of the Lord meant to give him pleasure. Therefore our nature or dharma is to give pleasure to the Lord. Therefore it is said, this is called Shakti Parinamvad. And if you look in the actual Vedic scriptures, this Shakti Parinamvad is the only proper explanation of the nature of the jivas. Some people say the jivas come from God directly. But in Sastra it says that God cannot have any vikar, transformation. God does not have any vikriti. Vikriti means transformation. That transformation comes from Shakti. Therefore it's called Shakti Parinamvad. The philosophy of the transformation of the Lord's Shakti, potency. So the jivas are manifesting from that Shakti. Therefore their highest possible destination is service to Krishna in the topmost dimension as that of a maidservant of Srimati Radhika. Under that line of Hladini Shakti. That is our topmost potential as jivas. And we're going to learn more about that in the next verse, like Anarpita Chirim Chirat. These three verses go together and very important. And we'll discuss it going further. Anarpita Chirim Chirat talks more about what is the topmost potential of the jiva. When we talk about Unata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam, Mahaprabhu came to give this Unata Ujvala Ras Svabhakti Shriyam. That is referring to our highest destination or potential as a jiva. But in this verse, first we'll discuss this, right? So Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Razmat. So Pranaya Vikriti. So we worship Radharani especially at the time of Kartik Brat. And that is known as Srimati Radhika's month. Urja Brat and Radha Damodar Brat. But really it's Radharani's month. Like Purushottam Mas is Krishna's month. Urja Brat is Radharani's month. There's many reasons, but the most important reason is that Radhika appears in that month. There's two Radhastamis, two appearances of Radharani. One is her birthday, Radhastami, which is Sukla Astami, the bright fortnight in that month when Krishna is also born. She appears 2 weeks after Krishna. That's her, she appears in Vrishabhanu Kund. In some ages, she appears directly from Kirtida's womb. That's the general understanding of the appearance of Radhika. But then there's a higher knowledge about this also, which is at the time of Sarad Purnima, which is the full moon night, which is the first night of the month of Kartik, which is Radharani's month. Then at that night, Krishna remembered his promise to fulfill the desires of the gopis by performing Rasa dance, the Rasa Lila with them. And he saw the beautiful full moon and the forest of Braj, and it was very attractive. And even though he is self-satisfied, Atmaram, Aptakam, he experiences happiness within himself, still, he desired to dance with the gopis. That is called Sarad Purnim. And the Ras Lila that we know of, generally in the Bhagavatam, that is the Sarad Purnima Ras. Vasanti Ras is another one, the spring Ras. So at that time, Radhika manifested from Krishna's left side. Because we understand generally in Braj Leela, according to like the sequence of time, past, present, future, okay, the gopis were already there and Krishna called them. But in its original sense, again, we're going back to the beginning. This is called ontology. In the original sense, when Krishna had his desire to experience the exchange of love, at that moment, Radhika manifested from his left side, because Shakti comes on the left side. The feminine nature. Radhika is like the feminine counterpart of the absolute truth, and Krishna is the masculine counterpart of the absolute truth. Together they are inseparable halves. They are the Advaya Gyan Para Tattva. Advaya means non-dual. Advaya. So Radhika and Krishna are the Advaya Gyan Para Tattva that is described in all the Vedas. The non-dual absolute truth. Radhika manifested from Krishna's left side. And as soon as she appeared, she began to run towards Krishna, and therefore her name is Radha. If you look at the name Radha, it means Radhavati iti Radha. Davati means to run. So she appeared and then she ran towards Krishna with Rag. Rag means spontaneous attraction or a love. So Ra comes to Raga and Da comes to Davati. So Radhavati iti Radha. She who is running towards Krishna to please him through the exchange of love with him, that manifestation or transformation of his love is Radha. So when we say pranaya vikriti, the transformation of Krishna's personified love appears from his left side as soon as he desires to perform ras. Ras means a loving exchange between the lover and beloved. Like we said before, there are only three things. You can say bhakta, bhakti, and bhagavan. God, the devotee, and love or devotion. Or you can say prem, premi, and premika. The lover, the beloved, and their love. So this pranaya vikriti, transformation of love, is Srimati Radhika. And she appeared and then began to Radha. Da means Davati, which is to run, with Ra, which is Rag. That is Radha. So this is the pranaya vikriti. Okay, so we can go forward. And this is Ladini Shaktir Azmad. This is only to give pleasure to Krishna, and that is non-different from Prem. Krishnendriya Priti Vansha Dare Prema Nam. Prem or pure love is the constant desire to please and satisfy the beloved Krishna. And in that exchange of love between the devotee and God, the devotee feels unlimited satisfaction and unlimited bliss and happiness. But the devotee never thinks, I want to be happy by my service. The gopis, they experience millions of times of more ecstasy even than Krishna. And we're going to hear about that in the next verse, that Krishna wanted to come himself as his devotee to experience the love that his devotees experienced through serving him. So the devotees experience so much love, millions of times more love than even Krishna can experience. Because that love and happiness you experience from serving the beloved is greater than the experience of receiving service. As far as bliss. Because Krishna is like sugar, but sugar cannot taste itself. Someone who is tasting sugar can relish its sweetness. So Krishna is so sweet. He is Madhuram, Adaram, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram. Everything about Krishna is sweet, but how will he taste himself? We heard this verse, we learned this verse, Anandamayo Bhyasat. Krishna is Ananda, bliss personified. But how will he taste that? Therefore he became Mahaprabhu. Aham Bhakta. He took on the form of his own devotee to experience the sweetness that only Radhika experiences through their loving exchanges. So the devotee experiences so much bliss and happiness in their love and service to Krishna, but they never think, I want to serve Krishna so I'll be happy. There's not even the slightest scent of selfish desire. The gopis sing, or they pray, Nagani apana duk sabi vancha tar suk amar tatparya. More jari dile duk, tar hoy mahasuk. Say duk more sukhavarya. So they say, if it pleases you to give me distress, that distress or pain is my happiness. More jadi dile duk. If you give me pain, and duk means sadness, sorrow, misery. For me, that is my greatest happiness. I have no consideration of my own happiness. Whatever you desire, that is my desire. This is called taratma bhav, oneness of heart with the beloved. But the magical thing about Krishna Lila is that even though they have no selfishness and they have no thought about their own happiness, still they experience a happiness that is unimaginable for us when we are covered over by mundane knowledge and materialism. We cannot even imagine the happiness they are experiencing. It's like if you're a 5-watt bulb, you cannot contain 1,000 watts. You'll explode. But this is even a material example. The experience of Krishna Ananda is unfathomable to the material mind. We talked before about happiness in this world just being like the relief of an itch. But in the spiritual world, the happiness there is the happiness that is innate to the real nature of the soul. And when you're fulfilling your natural purpose to the highest extent, the bliss you experience is unimaginable in our present condition. This is called Premananda, the bliss of the love for Krishna. So this is the first line. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Razmad. Then the next line. Ekatmanav api bhuvipura deha bedam gatoto. They are ekatmanav, one being. Ekatmanav bhuvipura, but they appeared on this bhuvi, this earth, in two forms. Deha bedam, in two forms. Gatoto. Then the next line, Ekatmana bhuvi pura deha bedam gatoto chaitanyakam prakatam aduna tadvayam chaikyamaptam. Then Radha Krishna's appearance was 5,000 years ago, approximately. And then after 5,500, after 5,000 years passed, then again they appeared as one. Chaikyam aptam. Even though before they appeared in two forms, then again they came in a combined form. Chaitanyakyam, as the personality known as Chaitanya. Akyam means known as. So Chaitanyakyam prakatam. They manifested, or prakatam, as the personality known as Chaitanya. Chaitanyakam prakatam aduna. Aduna means now. So Kaviraj Goswami wrote that at that time. He said, now they have appeared. Chaitanyakyam prakatam aduna tadvayam. Tadvaya means these two beings, dvaya. Tadvayam chaikyam, they have combined again as one. Chaikyam aptam. And then the last line, Radha Bhava Duty, with the mood of Radharani and the complexion of Radharani, or the luster or splendor of Radharani. Radha Bhava Duty, Suvalitam, who is very attractive and very beautiful. Nomi Krishna Swarupam, but he is Krishna Swarup, the form of Krishna. But it also says Krishna Swarupam. And we talked before about Swarup Shakti. So he is Krishna with the mood and complexion of Radharani, but therefore you cannot divide them. Like we can say Mohan has the form of Mohan, but if he has the mood of Jamuna, then who is he? Mohan or Jamuna? What is the mood? The mood means your bhav. It's like everything to you, your personality. It's like if you have a computer, which is like hardware, and then it's running a certain kind of software, that's its mood. So what's more important, the external thing or the internal thing? So Mahaprabhu has the mood of Radharani, the experience of Radharani, but he is Krishna Swarupam. And Swarup means Swarup Shakti also. So you cannot divide and separate Radha from Mahaprabhu or Krishna from Mahaprabhu. Ultimately, they are Radha Krishna combined. That's why we say they are Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam. They were two, Radha Krishna. Even though we heard before, they are one. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikrit Ladini Shakti Ekatmanav. They are one Atma, one soul, one being. But then Deha Bedam, they have appeared in two forms. And then again, Tadvayam Chaikyam Aptam. These two forms again appeared as one personality, known as Chaitanya. And who is Chaitanya? He is Radha Bhava Duty. He has the mood and the effulgence of Srimati Radhika. And he is Krishna Swarupam. Okay, so that's the first verse. Should we do the second verse? Let's try to do the second verse. All right, we can say it together. Let's say it all together, all right? Radha Krishna, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidri Shovanayaiva Svadyo Yenad Bhuta Madhurima Kidri Shovamadiya Sokyam Chasyamada Nupavata Kidri Shambeti Lovat Tadbhavadya Sama Jani Sachi Garba Sindhu Harindu. So this is the very next verse that comes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, and this is the 6th verse. The one we learned was the 5th, or right? Yes. So now it's further revealing the essence of the previous verse. In the first line we heard Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti. So this line starts with Shri Radhaya Pranaya. Pranaya means very concentrated love. In English we only have one word, love, or we have the word affection. But in Sanskrit you have pranaya, you have prem, mahabhav. It's much more detailed, and there are many different specialities and levels. So when we say Shri Radhaya Pranaya, it means the very deep, concentrated essence of Radharani's love. So therefore, who is Mahaprabhu and why did he come? Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima. So there's 3 internal reasons for Mahaprabhu's appearance. There's other external reasons that we'll hear of later. But now we're hearing the 3 internal reasons. So Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, Kidriso Vanayaiva. Kidriso means to understand the nature of. He had this desire. What is the nature, Kidriso, of the glory, Mahima, of the pranaya, the concentrated love of Sri Radha? We heard before already about who is Sri Radha, so we won't reiterate. So Mahaprabhu had these 3 desires. The first desire was, what is the glory, Mahima, of the pranaya, love of Srimati Radhika? Kidriso. Kidriso means what? Or what is the nature of? That's the first reason. He wanted to know this. Why couldn't he know it as Krishna? As Krishna, he is the Vishaya Vigraha. He is the enjoyer. He is the beloved who is always being served. Unless he becomes his own devotee, he cannot experience the bliss and happiness that is achieved by being the devotee. And in this case, Srimati Radhika is, she's not even the devotee per se, but she is Ashraya Jatya, as we say. Like, of all devotees, she is our topmost pinnacle or example, even though she is non-different from Krishna. They appeared in 2 forms. So when we say Krishna wanted to experience the glory of her love, as Krishna, he could not fully understand it. In Krishna's pastimes, Krishna became bewildered. Now, there's a pastime that relates to this. At Prem Sarovar, Srimati Radhika was sitting in Krishna's lap. And there was a bumblebee coming to hover around her feet, because it said Radhika's feet are like fragrant like honey. And they are soft and look like a lotus petal, especially underneath. It's the reddish and very fragrant. So the bee thought it was honey. Bee is called Madhumakshi, those who are always searching for honey. Madhumakshi, right? So they're always searching for honey. So it was hovering around Radhika's foot, and she was like trying to shoo it away, but it kept coming back. So then Madhumangal, who was there, Madhumangal is such a close friend of Krishna that he also has some entrance into Radha and Krishna's pastimes. So when Radhika was on Krishna's lap and this bumblebee was starting to disturb her, then Madhumangal came and he chased the bumblebee away with a stick. And then he returned and said, now Madhusudan has gone and he will never return. So Madhusudan is a name for a bumblebee, those who are always seeking honey or nectar. But it's also Krishna's name. So hearing Madhusudan has gone and will not return, Radhika's love is so powerful, it goes to different levels. Even like Madhanakya Mahabhav means she loses all sense even. It's the topmost level of her transformation of pranaya vikriti. And even though she was sitting in Krishna's lap, she forgot she was in Krishna's lap. She could not realize she was in Krishna's lap. Just hearing that Krishna has left, she had so much love for him that she became senseless with separation. And she began to weep. And she felt senseless. And Krishna was thinking, here I am, she's sitting in my lap, and still she is feeling separation. So he was thinking, how can I relieve her separation? He saw that in separation from me, when I am far away, then seeing a bluish rain cloud or a tamal tree, she'll run and embrace it, thinking that it's non-different from me. And she's always thinking of me and experiencing meeting in the heart. But when she's with me, sometimes she'll feel separation and become senseless in distress. So Krishna was thinking, what can I do? And this is one of the reasons Krishna went to Mathura, because he could not understand the nature and glory of her love and what to do. So finally, Krishna himself also became senseless in Viraha at that point, the Sakhis as well. And finally, only by Kirtan, then they came finally back to their sense. But even that Kund manifested there from their tears of love, Prem Sarovar, in separation from Krishna. So it said that this is one of the glories of Radhika's love that Krishna wanted to understand, that pastime. That how is it that her love is so great? Just simply thinking about the possibility of separation or hearing that I was gone. Even though she was with me, she had so much love for me that she felt senseless in separation. So what is that glory of her love? Pranaya Mahima. Then the next one. Svadyo yenadbhuta kidrishova madhya. What is that sweetness in me, Madhya? Krishna thought, what is that sweetness in me that she is relishing? So, Svadyo means to taste. Like if you're eating a rasgulla, you can taste the sweetness of a rasgulla. But if you are a rasgulla, how are you going to taste the sweetness of yourself? Param Gurudev once was in the place called Siddhavati, and there was an impersonalist judge who came to see him, and he saw Gurudev outside the door reading a book called Hari Bhakti Vilas, Sanatana Goswami's book. And he said, what are you reading? Oh, Hari Bhakti Vilas. He said, why don't you read Sarirak Bhasya of Sankaracharya, which is the impersonalist commentary of Vedanta Sutra by Sankaracharya. And Gurudev said, oh, this Sankaracharya's book is not as important as Hari Bhakti Vilas. And he said, what? You're criticizing Adi Shankar? How dare you? And he said, oh, Sanatana Goswami is much higher. He said, how dare you? Again, you're insulting Shankar. How is that possible? He said, Sanatana Goswami is Lavanga Manjari, Radhika's own maidservant. And Sankaracharya performed tapasya, austerities for such a long time, and finally he became Gopishwar Mahadev, and he stayed at the gateway of Braj. Even then he couldn't enter. So where is Lavanga Manjari and where is Gopishwar Mahadev or Adi Shankar? Even though we respect everyone. And he said also, we don't read the commentary of Sankaracharya because it's given there only to bewilder the demons who are antagonistic to Krishna and the devotees. Krishna sent Sankaracharya to establish Mayavad. So then they began to argue. This person began to argue a little with Gurudev, even though Gurudev very quickly cut his arguments. So Param Gurudev came out of his room and he met with this person and he said, your Mayavad is a pot of stool. He said, your impersonalism is non-different from stool. Param Gurudev spoke very boldly. He said, all this impersonalist philosophy is nonsense. All this impersonalist philosophy is non-different from stool. And he said, how dare you say that? He said, you say that in the personalist philosophy, you say, oh, we'll experience Ananda, bliss. But he said, if you are bliss, how will you experience bliss? And Sankaracharya wrote in the purport of this sutra, Anandamaya Abhyasat. In the explanation of that, he said that Vyasadeva made a mistake and he said Anandamaya Abhyasat. Really, he should just say he is Ananda. Because we understand that Krishna is relishing this. He said, no, God is just bliss, everything is one, we're all that. But Param Gurudev said, look, why am I saying it's non-different from stool? He said, it doesn't matter if it's stool or sugar. Because if there's only sugar, sugar cannot taste itself. So it's non-different from stool. What does it matter if it's sugar or stool? You cannot taste itself, you have no personality, no separate individual being, and you cannot do anything. So he said, this is a nonsense, therefore. He said, in reality, Radha, Krishna, and the devotees' love. This is called Bhakti Bhakta Bhagavan. All three are non-different, meaning there are one, they're all connected. They're all connected. We cannot separate them, but still they are individual and unique. There's love, there's the lover, and there's the beloved. Prem, Premika, and Premi. The lover, Premi, Premika, the beloved, and the love themselves. The love itself that they relish together. So, Swadyo yena adbhuta madhurima kidrisho vamadiya. Vamadiya is in myself. So Krishna wanted to taste the sweetness in himself that only Radhika relishes. In the previous line, Vanayaiva means only Srimati Radhika. So, according to your level of development in bhakti, you will experience a certain kind of happiness through your performance of devotion as you develop in love for Krishna. According to your level, you experience a certain kind of happiness. That's a different kind of swad. Swad means a taste. But Radhika naturally experiences the highest swad or taste of happiness that is in Krishna. So if Krishna is personified sweetness, Radhika can taste that sweetness to the topmost extent. Whereas other people on other levels, they cannot taste the sweetness to the topmost extent. So it's swadyo yena adbhuta. Adbhuta means very wonderful. So swadyo yena adbhuta madhurima. Madhurima means sweetness. So he wanted to taste that wonderful sweetness, adbhuta madhurima, that is in himself, vamadiya, that is Krishna's sweetness, but only Radhika is tasting it to the topmost level. So vanayaiva, swadyo yena adbhuta madhurim kidriso vamadiya. He wanted to taste that sweetness. As the sugar, he wanted to become, instead of being the rasgulla, he wanted to be the person tasting the rasgulla. Because as Krishna, he's experiencing one kind of ananda, but that is the devotees serving him. And Krishna saw that when I'm meeting with the gopis, I'm experiencing so much happiness. But he could understand that they're experiencing even more happiness than I am. So therefore he thought, what is that taste? What is that sweetness? That how is it that the devotee is experiencing more bliss and happiness than God himself? Therefore he wanted to relish that. And he wanted to relish the topmost level, which is Srimati Radhika's. So we'll be done in 1 minute. Okay, the third one. Sokyam chasya mad anubhavata kidrisham veti lobat. He developed lob. Lob means greed. Spiritual greed. To do what? Sokyam chasya. To taste that happiness. Sokyam chasya mad anubhavata kidrisham veti lobat. Kidrisha means again what? What is that happiness that she experiences by her love for me and by her service for me? So there's a slight difference. One is he wanted to relish the taste of the sweetness. Svadyo yenad bhuta madhurima. The wonderful taste of his sweetness. That's one thing. But then the other one is the happiness that she experiences. Sokyam chasya mad anubhavata kidrisham veti loba. He developed that greed. Therefore, he appeared from the womb of Sachimata as the moon arises from the ocean. And we worship that, Sachinandan Gaur Hari. So tomorrow we will learn or hear about the commentary to the third verse we learned. Anarpita charim chirat karunaya avatirna kalo samarpaitum unata ujvala rasam svabhakti shriyam Hari purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratuva Sachinandanaha Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.